Fat men competing for brides, ghost masks, treehouse homes, and people who knew space before scientists. These tribes redefine everything you know. In the misty highlands of Papua New Guinea, there lives a tribe that takes grooming to an entirely new level. Meet the Huli Wigman Proud Warriors, who literally grow their own ceremonial wigs from their hair. These aren't just any wigs. We're talking towering, rounded hairpieces carefully shaped, adorned with bird feathers, and worn like royal crowns. It's not a costume, it's identity, pride, and power rolled into one. From a young age, Huli boys are taught how to care for their hair. Once they reach adolescence, they enter a secluded camp where they begin the meticulous process of growing and preparing their hair for its transformation. During this time, they avoid touching their hair with their hands, using only bamboo combs and water collected in banana leaves. When the hair grows long and strong enough, it's cut, shaped into the perfect arc, and dried in the sun. These wigs aren't tossed together in a day. Crafting one can take months. And yes, the final piece is a true badge of honor. The most prized wigs are saved for important rituals and gatherings. Some Huli men even make multiple wigs, one for daily life and others for grand displays. To top it off, they decorate them with plumes from the bird of paradise, a creature just as colorful and extravagant as their culture. These headpieces rise up like helmets, giving the wearer a larger-than-life appearance. It's a natural form of self-expression that stands out even in a world full of wild fashion trends. What makes it all the more fascinating is the purpose behind the wigs. For the Huli, these aren't just fashion. They symbolize transformation and masculinity. Growing your own wig shows discipline and patience. Wearing one tells the world you've come of age. In a way, it's their version of a graduation cap, just way more epic and handmade. Far from any telescope or science lab, in the cliffs of Mali lives the Dogon tribe, a group that stunned the modern world with their knowledge of the stars. What makes them so unusual? Long before modern astronomers confirmed it, the Dogon described in detail a hidden star, Sirius B, an ultra-dense companion to Sirius that can't be seen without a telescope. According to the Dogon, this wasn't just a guess, it was part of their oral history, passed down through generations. This cosmic knowledge isn't kept in books. It's woven into dances, masks, and sculptures. The Dogon use elaborate ceremonies to express their view of the universe, dressing in layered outfits and towering masks that stretch over 6 feet tall. Some say these rituals are purely cultural, others still whisper about a possible lost connection to something beyond this world. Whatever the truth, the visuals are stunning. Rows of dancers moving in sync, their masks painted in earth tones and stars, turning every gathering into a moving, breathing galaxy. But while the Dogon look to the skies, another tribe in Papua keeps its eyes on the past, and even keeps its ancestors close. In the Baliam Valley of Papua, the Dani people have developed one of the world's most visually intense traditions. Here, history isn't locked in books or museums, it's preserved in full view. The Dani mummify important ancestors using smoke, carefully treating the bodies over an open flame until they become dry, dark, and almost statue-like. These mummies are kept in the village, not hidden away, and are even brought out for special events, wearing traditional gear and headpieces made from feathers and boar tusks. But there's more to Dani culture than mummification. Their beauty standards are as bold as their ceremonies. Men often wear koteka, a long, decorated gourd worn over the genitals, secured with string and worn with pride. Each one is shaped differently, and in some cases men personalize them to show off their style or status. For the Dani, strength and bravery are core values, and these are reflected in their appearance. Ritual mock battles, once used to settle disputes, now draw travelers who watch in awe as warriors clash in full tribal wear. The Dani show us a world where tradition is never just in the past. It's right there, standing tall in the center of the village. Deep in the foggy valleys of Papua New Guinea, the Asaro tribe has mastered the art of being unforgettable. Their look is like something out of a dream, or, honestly, a nightmare. They cover themselves in white clay from head to toe and wear these eerie, oversized masks with gaping mouths and bulging eyes. Now, it's not just for show. According to legend, way back when, their enemies were superstitious and feared spirits, so the Asaro started appearing like ghosts from the mist to scare them away. And, well, it actually worked. What started out as a survival tactic became a full-blown tradition. Today, the mudmen still put on their ghostly outfits for cultural events and festivals. The masks? They're handcrafted from clay, often decorated with spikes or horns to make them even more chilling. Unlike other tribes where color explodes from feathers and beads, the Asaro keep it minimal and pale. Their beauty standard is all about the shock factor, becoming something otherworldly. And it's this unique take on self-presentation that makes them stand out, not just in Papua but all over the world. There's no dancing or loud drumming in their performance. The mudmen move slowly, deliberately, almost like statues that just decided to take a stroll. Every step is calculated, every gesture silent, but wow, so powerful. It's this contrast, total stillness, mixed with the raw power of their look, that really grabs attention. In a world where loud usually wins, the Asaro prove that sometimes the quietest presence can make the biggest impact. In the dense green heart of the Brazilian Amazon, the Satere Mauve tribe carries out one of the most intense manhood rituals on Earth. And trust me, it's not just symbolic. To prove they're ready to enter adulthood, young boys have to wear gloves filled with bullet ants. And these aren't just regular insects. Bullet ants are famous for having one of the most powerful stings of any creature, described as feeling like fire running through your veins. But here's the twist. The gloves are woven from leaves with dozens of ants woven into the lining, stingers facing inward. The boys have to slide their hands inside and keep them there for several minutes, all while dancing to traditional music. Oh, and they do this not once but multiple times, throughout their lives. And it's not really about pain, it's about showing resilience, endurance, and being in control of your body and spirit. In Satera Maui culture, these are the traits that define true strength. The ritual is deeply respected in the tribe. It's watched by elders, cheered by families, and remembered for a lifetime. The boys who make it through don't just earn pride, they earn a place among the adults, along with these elaborate feathered headdresses and body paint that marks their new status. Here, beauty standards aren't about looks, but about what you've endured. In a world obsessed with comfort and convenience, the Satera Ma remind us that sometimes people still choose the hard path because it means something real. In the dry, rugged landscapes around Lake Eyasi in northern Tanzania lives one of the last truly wild tribes on Earth, the Hadza. While most of us are glued to phones and clocks, the Hadza live entirely off the land, guided by the rhythm of nature. They hunt with hand-carved bows, gather wild berries, dig for tubers, and sleep under the stars. No crops, no permanent houses, and definitely no written schedules. Their lifestyle hasn't changed in thousands of years, and honestly, that's what makes them so fascinating. Hadza men are lean, agile hunters. They coat their arrows with natural poisons from desert plants, and they can track animals for miles without any maps or GPS. The women? They're expert foragers. With babies strapped to their backs, they dig up roots and gather fruit with a speed and precision that would put any trained survivalist to shame. Their strength and beauty are in their adaptability, in how they move, think, and live with the land, not against it. Unlike many modern cultures, the Hadza don't hoard. They take what they need and share it with the group. They don't value possessions, they value skill, laughter, and connection. Their clothing is simple, often made from animal hide or fabric traded with nearby groups. Yet, there's something effortlessly stylish about the way they wear their life experience. Every scar, every calloused hand tells a story. In a world racing toward artificial intelligence and virtual reality, the Hadza stand as living proof that humans can still thrive with nothing but instinct, knowledge, and nature. Every year, in a remote corner of Ethiopia's Omo Valley, the Bodhi tribe holds a competition unlike anything else in the world. Forget six-packs and gym selfies. Here the prize goes to the man who gets the fattest. That's right. Among the Bodhi, size equals strength. And once a year, young bachelors enter a months-long race to gain as much weight as possible. And it's not just for show. The winner earns massive respect and becomes the tribe's most eligible man. All eyes, especially from the women, are on him. How do they do it? These men drink a special mix made from cow blood and fresh milk, chugging it several times a day. They're not allowed to move much either. The goal is to gain pure mass, so they stay in huts focusing only on eating, drinking, and resting. As the ceremony nears, the anticipation builds. Families watch closely, rivalries heat up, and when the big day arrives, it's time to show off. Wearing nothing but decorative beads and traditional body paint, the contenders step into the open, stomachs protruding proudly. There are chants, clapping, and laughter, but the atmosphere is serious. The judges, including elders and women from the tribe, observe every detail. The The biggest man, the one who's transformed himself the most, becomes a symbol of beauty, wealth, and strength. It's a title that sticks for life. This ritual flips modern beauty standards on their head. Here, larger bodies aren't mocked, they're celebrated, and women do notice. A winning man often attracts more romantic attention and can build stronger social ties within the tribe. In a global culture obsessed with losing weight, the Bodhi offer a rare, bold contrast. Here, gaining weight is the ultimate achievement. Tucked deep within the Amazon rainforest of Bolivia, lives a tribe whose lifestyle might just hold the secret to long life. The Tsimane people don't go to the gym, follow strict diets, or wear fitness trackers, yet scientists have found they have the healthiest hearts ever recorded. Seriously, their arteries stay so clean and unclogged that many Tsimane in their 70s show the heart health of someone half their age. What's their secret? Movement, lots of it. Tsimane men spend their days hunting with handcrafted bows or fishing in winding rivers. Women forage, farm, and walk long distances every day. There are no cars, no screens, and absolutely no sitting for hours scrolling through feeds. Their bodies are shaped by their routines, lean, strong, and always in motion. It's not just about looking fit, it's about being in sync with the natural world and living with purpose every day. Their diet is just as fascinating. The Tsimane eat what they grow and catch: fish, bananas, corn, nuts, and the occasional wild meat. There's no sugar-loaded snacks, no processed foods. Everything they consume comes directly from the forest or their fields. And it shows, not just in their health, but in their skin, posture, and physical grace. Their appearance is a reflection of function, of living a life shaped by survival and balance. Unlike beauty trends that change with every season, the Tsimane live with standards that have barely changed in centuries. In their world, the most attractive traits are endurance, ability, and resilience, and somehow, without trying, they've become living proof of what the human body is capable of when it's pushed by nature, not machines. In the blazing heat of southern Tunisia, where the sun beats down with no mercy, some people have found a cool, creative way to live, literally underground. The Matmata Berbers have carved their homes deep into the earth, creating entire dwellings beneath the desert surface. From above, these homes are almost invisible. But step down through the carved entrance and you'll find shaded courtyards, cozy rooms, and walls shaped by hand over generations. These cave homes aren't just cool in temperature, they're beautifully practical. Dug from soft sandstone, each house stays naturally cool during the day and warm at night. The central courtyard lets in light and air, while tunnels lead to kitchens, bedrooms, and even storage rooms. It's a brilliant blend of tradition and survival. And it's not just about function. The smooth, rounded walls are often painted white or decorated with handmade items, giving each home its own personality. The people here have turned simplicity into a style of its own. Women wear bright headscarves, silver jewelry, and long robes that stand out against the beige earth. The way they live, dress, and move reflects a slow, thoughtful rhythm of life that contrasts sharply with the fast pace of the modern world. There's a quiet beauty in their traditions, one that comes not from wealth or trends but from knowing how to live in harmony with the environment. You might recognize these cave homes even if you've never been to Tunisia. Some were used as filming locations for sci-fi movies, but for the locals, this isn't fiction, it's home. High above the forest floor in the thick jungles of West Papua, the Kambai people live in houses that would terrify anyone with a fear of heights. These aren't huts on stilts, they're full homes built in the canopies, sometimes over 50 feet above ground. Why? Well, it's all about safety. Up there, wild animals and intruders can't reach them, and it turns out the view is pretty incredible too. Building these tree houses takes serious skill. The Kambai use vines, sharpened sticks, and wooden beams, no nails, no metal tools. The structures are balanced on branches and held together by tight lashings. Floors are made from sago palm, and the roofs are thick enough to keep out the jungle rain. What's amazing is how casually they move up and down, climbing vines like it's second nature. For the Kambai, this vertical life is just normal. Their days are spent hunting pigs, birds, and fish with bows and spears. The men wear narrow strips of bark cloth, while women wrap themselves in woven skirts. There's beauty in their simplicity, in how their lives are shaped by what they can make with their own hands. Children learn to climb and hunt early, joining their families and gathering food from the forest below. To outsiders, their homes might look like something from a fantasy film, but for the Kambai, it's everyday life, high up in the trees, surrounded by birdsong, wind, and endless green. In the wide, sun-baked plains of Kenya and Tanzania, the Maasai stand tall. literally. Known for their vibrant red shukas, intricate beadwork, and unmistakable presence, they are one of the most recognizable tribes in Africa. But there's one tradition that truly lifts them above the rest: the jumping dance, known as adumu. It's not just for fun. Among the Maasai, jumping high is a sign of strength, youth, and appeal. And during these ceremonies, women are watching closely. The dance takes place during warrior ceremonies where young men form a circle and take turns leaping into the air with straight posture, barely bending their knees. The higher the jump, the more impressed the crowd. It's a chance to show energy, health, and vitality, all key qualities in a potential partner. And yes, women often choose their future husbands during these events, making every leap count. But the beauty standards here go far beyond jumping. Maasai men and women take pride in their appearance. Men often shave their heads and wear jewelry made from beads, metal, and even lion's mane, for those who've proven their bravery. Women stretch their earlobes and stack colorful bead necklaces that sparkle in the sun. These accessories aren't random. Each color and pattern tells a story of age, status, and family ties. In a modern world filled with filters and fast trends, the Maasai remain grounded in centuries-old rituals. Their elegance is raw, their pride is visible, and their way of life continues to thrive under the open sky. On the banks of the Ganges River in the sacred city of Varanasi, a small sect of Hindu monks lives far from the norms of everyday society. They are the Aghori Sadhus, a group that has fascinated and puzzled people for centuries. Covered in ash, draped in minimal clothing or none at all, with long matted hair and intense stares, they walk the line between the spiritual and the surreal. The Aghori reject worldly attachments in every form. For them, beauty lies not in appearance but in complete detachment. They smear their bodies with cremation ash, wear beads made from bones, and meditate near riverside pyres. To outsiders, their appearance might seem shocking, but for the Aghori, these choices reflect a philosophy that nothing is impure, not even death. They believe in the unity of all things, breaking down the barriers between the sacred and the taboo. Their practices are not meant to provoke. They're rooted in intense discipline, with the goal of achieving spiritual liberation by confronting what others fear. The way they look, the way they live, and even the way they eat are all part of this path. They often hold tridents, skull bowls, and chant deep mantras that echo through the air, creating a presence that's hard to ignore. In a world where beauty is often about perfection and polish, the Aghori represent the extreme opposite: the raw, the wild, and the unfiltered. They challenge the very idea of what should be seen or celebrated. In the remote Omo Valley of southern Ethiopia, the women of the Mercy tribe wear one of the most striking and misunderstood symbols of beauty on earth: lip plates. These wide clay or wooden discs are inserted into the lower lip, gradually increasing in size over time. For the Mercy, this is not a trend or a costume, it's a powerful sign of identity, strength, and womanhood. Girls typically begin the process in their teenage years. A small cut is made and a tiny disc is inserted. Over time, larger plates are added and the lip stretches to accommodate them. Some women can wear plates over 4 inches wide. These aren't forced practices. Many women take pride in the look. It's their way of saying, "This is who I am Mercy," and it shows resilience, patience, and status within the community. The plates are beautifully decorated, often with carvings, patterns, and even personal touches that express individuality. The process may seem extreme to outsiders, but in Mercy culture, it's a form of empowerment. Larger plates can indicate maturity, readiness for marriage, or family honor. And while the plates attract attention globally, they hold deep cultural meaning locally. It's not just the plates that define Mercy beauty. Women shave their heads, wear bold earrings, paint their bodies with ash and natural pigments, and carry themselves with unmistakable confidence. In a world constantly shifting its beauty standards, the Mercy hold on to theirs with pride, turning what others might call unusual into something undeniably powerful. Deep in the Colombian Amazon, hidden beneath a canopy of endless green, live the Nukak, one of the last nomadic tribes in South America to come into contact with the outside world. For generations they moved silently through the forest, building no permanent homes, owning almost nothing, and surviving entirely off hunting, fishing, and foraging. Their world was made of trees, rivers, and sky, and that was enough. Even today the Nukak prefer to stay on the move. Their shelters are temporary, made from palm leaves and branches, just sturdy enough for a few nights before the journey continues. Men hunt monkeys and birds with blowpipes and poison-tipped darts, while women gather fruits, nuts, and wild plants with expert precision. They carry little, travel light, and rely completely on their knowledge of the jungle, a skill set that would put most survivalists to shame. Their appearance reflects their lifestyle, simple, natural, and perfectly adapted to the forest. Body paint made from crushed seeds and clay is worn during special occasions. Some wear handmade ornaments from feathers or carved wood, but decoration is minimal. Here, function comes first. Children learn early, not in classrooms but in the wild, where every leaf and footprint teaches something important. What makes the Nukak so fascinating isn't just their isolation. It's the fact that they've maintained a culture so untouched by modern habits. In a world where even the most remote places have Wi-Fi, the Nukak remind us that life can still exist in rhythm with the earth. Their way of life may be rare, but their connection to the natural world is something deeply human, and something the rest of the world is slowly starting to rediscover. Across the sun-baked deserts of Gujarat and Rajasthan, the Rabari people roam with their camels, dressed in colors that blaze against the dry earth. The men wear crisp white garments and bright red turbans, while the women dazzle in deep black veils, embroidered blouses, mirrored jewelry, and layers of silver. Wherever they go, they carry centuries of tradition, not just in stories, but in how they look, walk, and live. The Rabari are herders by trade and artists by spirit. Their clothing isn't just functional, it's expressive. Every stitch, color, and accessory has meaning. Women wear heavy nose rings and bangles that jingle with each step, turning even the simplest walk into a quiet performance. Their tattoos, drawn in geometric shapes across their arms and necks, mark life events and spiritual symbols passed down through generations. Despite modern pressures, the Rabari continue their nomadic lifestyle, guiding their flocks through open landscapes and sleeping under the stars. Their beauty is rooted in resilience, identity, and movement, not in trends. In a world rushing towards sameness, the Rabari remain boldly, beautifully different. From tree houses to reindeer saddles, clay masks to lip plates, you've now seen 15 of the most incredible tribes on Earth. Different worlds, different ways, but all with something unforgettable to share. Deep in the Amazon rainforest lives a tribe that practices one of the most painful coming-of-age rituals on the planet. The Satere Maui people, native to Brazil, have a tradition so intense, even the toughest action movie heroes would hesitate to try it. Their young boys become men not by words or ceremony, but by enduring a glove full of some of the most aggressive insects on Earth, bullet ants. A sting from a bullet ant is ranked among the most painful insect stings known to science. Some say it feels like getting shot, hence the name. These ants are woven into gloves made from natural fibers, their stingers pointing inward, waiting. The boys then insert their hands into the gloves and must endure the pain for several minutes. And this isn't a one-time thing. They repeat the ritual many times over the course of their initiation. What makes this even more incredible is the sheer willpower it takes. The boys are trained to stay silent, to show no signs of weakness. They dance, chant, and move around while their hands throb and swell. It's not just about pain, it's about proving courage, endurance, and earning respect within the tribe. And here's the wild part. After they remove the gloves, their hands often shake uncontrollably for hours, even days. But the Satere Mawa believe this ordeal doesn't just toughen the body, it strengthens the spirit. It's their way of connecting with nature, ancestors, and the invisible world around them. This ritual isn't a forgotten custom, it's alive, passed from one generation to the next. In a world filled with digital rites of passage, graduations, job promotions, online fame, the Satere Mawi's bullet ant gloves remind us of how raw and extreme human traditions can be. High in the misty highlands of Papua New Guinea, the Dani tribe preserves their ancestors in a way that's both eerie and deeply meaningful. Unlike other cultures that bury or cremate their dead, the Dani smoke mummify their most important leaders. These mummies, darkened and dried by years of controlled fire and plant resin, are placed in wooden shelters and displayed to the living as constant, visible links to the past. Their faces, preserved with haunting precision, still wear the same expressions they had in life. The tribe doesn't see them as gone. They believe the spirits of these ancestors remain close, watching over daily life. But this isn't the only ritual that sets the Dani apart. In mourning, these people used to express their grief by cutting off the top sections of their fingers. A string was tied tightly to isolate the area, and the segment was removed with a blade. This was usually done after losing a family member, especially someone deeply loved. The practice was painful and permanent, and though it has largely faded out in modern times, many people still carry the visible marks of this tradition on their hands. It wasn't done for shock, it was their way of showing sorrow without words. Together with the mummies, it forms a worldview where death is not the end, and emotion is etched into both body and memory. The Dani live with their dead, not apart from them, and that simple difference shapes every corner of their daily life. From the smoky peaks of New Guinea, we now drift deep into the rainforests along the Brazil-Venezuela border, where the Yanomami people follow a funerary tradition that still puzzles and fascinates outsiders. When a loved one dies, their body is not simply buried. Instead, the bones are carefully collected, crushed, and mixed with ashes of burned remains, then stirred into a thick paste with banana soup. This mixture is shared and consumed by the family. The ritual, known as endocannibalism, is not about nourishment or survival, it's entirely spiritual. The Yanomami believe that a person's soul must be fully integrated back into the community in order to rest. Eating the remains isn't seen as gruesome, it's viewed as an essential step in helping the spirit return to nature, to the forest, and to the living tribe members themselves. In their eyes, the body is temporary, but the spirit flows on. By swallowing a symbolic portion of that life, they are keeping it alive. Anthropologists who have studied this tribe for decades describe it as one of the most personal and intimate forms of grieving ever recorded, even though the ritual can sound shocking from an outsider's view. For the Yanomami, it's a natural extension of their relationship with the forest and the spirits around them. There are no graveyards, only dense trees, warm fires, and families gathered in circles, passing on not just stories of the dead, but the essence of who they were. These customs, so unlike the distant ceremonies many are used to, bring death closer in a way that's both mysterious and quietly profound. Along the murky edges of the Sepik River in Papua New Guinea lives the Kaningara tribe, people who believe that to become a man, you must first become something far older and more powerful, a crocodile. This isn't a metaphor or a legend, it's a transformation that leaves permanent marks, literally carved into the skin. In one of the most intense initiation rituals still practiced today, Kaningara boys enter a sacred spirit house far from the village. Over the course of weeks, their skin is cut in elaborate patterns using sharp bamboo blades. The incisions are arranged to mimic the scales of a crocodile. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of cuts are made on the arms, back, chest, and shoulders. The pain is staggering, but that's the point. It's meant to test the boys' strength and endurance. But this is about more than just bravery. The crocodile in Kaningara belief is a sacred ancestor, a creator and protector. Through the ritual, the boys are symbolically eaten by the crocodile spirit and reborn with its power. The scars become proof that they've been spiritually transformed, no longer boys but warriors and men connected to something ancient and wild. Once healed, the raised scars form striking geometric patterns across their bodies. These aren't just tattoos or decorations, they're maps of identity. They show others not only that the person has endured the ritual, but that they now carry the essence of the crocodile within them. Not far from the Kaningara lives another group with equally haunting traditions, the Ietmal people, known for one of the most visually intense rituals in the world, skull worship. In the Sepik River region, ancestral skulls aren't buried or hidden, they're kept close. Painted, decorated, and placed on sacred altars inside homes, these skulls are thought to hold the spirit and wisdom of those who came before. This practice isn't about fear, it's about connection. When a respected elder dies, their skull is carefully removed and preserved with clay, ash, and paint. Some are adorned with shells or feathers. These skulls often sit atop family shrines, watching over the household like silent guardians. People speak to them, seek their guidance, and include them in ceremonies. And it doesn't stop there. The tribe sometimes molds clay over the skull to recreate the original facial features, making it look startlingly lifelike. It's a way to keep the person physically present even after death. Outsiders might find it eerie, but to the Ietmal, it's comforting. Their ancestors are never truly gone. This ritual has been practiced for generations and still persists today, despite the encroachment of modern life. The artistry, symbolism, and spiritual power behind it rival the rituals of ancient Egypt or Peru, yet it exists not in tombs or museums, but in wooden homes on stilts by the Sepik River, far from the spotlight. In a world where death is often sanitized and hidden away, the Iatmul confront it head-on, with respect, color, and bone. And through this they maintain an unbroken link with those who walked before them. In the sweeping savannas of East Africa, the Maasai people live with a deep and powerful connection to their cattle. These majestic herders, spread across Kenya and Tanzania, are known worldwide for their red robes and high-jumping dances. But one of their most fascinating and misunderstood traditions lies in their diet, a mix of fresh cow's milk and blood. Now this isn't a survival trick or an emergency meal. It's a regular part of Maasai life, rich in nutrients and deeply symbolic. Blood is drawn directly from the neck vein of a cow using a sharpened arrow or small spear, with extreme care to avoid long-term harm. The wound is sealed immediately afterward, using a clotting technique passed down for generations. The blood is then mixed with milk and consumed on the spot, often warm and frothy. This blend is especially important during ceremonies, long journeys, or times of healing. It's believed to strengthen the body, keep the warrior spirit alive, and nourish like nothing else. For the Maasai, cattle are everything: currency, status, food source, and sacred beings all in one. No part of the animal is wasted, and the bond between human and cow is unlike anything else on the planet. To outsiders, drinking blood might sound extreme, but it's no more unusual than consuming rare steaks or sushi. It's just a different lens on nutrition, one rooted in tradition, balance, and respect for nature. Anthropologists have noted the Maasai's remarkable health and endurance, especially among those raised on this diet. In a world increasingly disconnected from the source of its food, the Maasai way may seem wild, but for them, it's a living link to identity, strength, and survival. Along the banks of the Ganges River, especially near the ancient city of Varanasi, roams a sect that seems ripped from a darker chapter of human belief. The Agori Sadhus live in stark contrast to mainstream society, embracing what most people fear. They wander near cremation grounds, meditate among ashes, and take vows that break every social norm imaginable. Their rituals often begin after sunset, when the world quiets and spirits are believed to stir. The Agoras believe that enlightenment comes not by avoiding what's taboo, but by confronting it. Death, decay, impurity, these are their gateways to freedom. By rejecting material attachments and immersing themselves in what others avoid, they hope to transcend ego and illusion. These men cover themselves in cremation ash, wear skull beads, and live with very few possessions. They meditate in silence, chant mantras, and practice rituals meant to dissolve fear. Occasionally, they'll be spotted performing ceremonies in graveyards seeking what they call inner liberation. Despite their extreme image, many Agoras are deeply spiritual and philosophical. They follow a path rooted in ancient Shaivite Hinduism, though their version is far more radical. Their way of life shocks most Indians, let alone the outside world, but they don't seek approval. They believe that by embracing what most reject, they achieve a higher truth. It's the kind of group you might expect to see in a psychological thriller or a twisted detective story, yet they walk among crowds every day in real life. The Agoras blur the line between sacred and profane, asking one chilling question: what if true freedom lies in what you fear the most? On the banks of Ethiopia's Omo River, where the sun bakes the land into bronze and the air feels ancient, the Karo tribe practices a tradition that's part sport, part spectacle, and part spiritual rite. It's called ritual dueling, and it's as real as it gets. Young Karo men take up long, flexible sticks and engage in one-on-one combat, watched closely by the rest of the tribe. These aren't casual skirmishes or street brawls, they're intense, rhythmic, and ceremonial. The goal isn't to injure, though wounds do happen, but to prove strength, control, and readiness for adulthood or even marriage. Before the duel, warriors paint themselves in elaborate patterns using chalk, ochre, and charcoal. These aren't random decorations, they're symbols of bravery and style. Think of it as war paint with flair. The fighters then enter the arena, cheered on by women, elders, and children, as the rhythmic beat of traditional music drives the moment. The Karo believe that through this public show of courage and grace, young men earn respect, potential brides, and a stronger role in their community. It's not unlike a gladiator arena, only this one's surrounded by dust, drums, and ancestral pride. Photographers and documentarians are often drawn to the Karo for their visual richness, body paint, ritual scars, and colorful ceremonies, but it's the spirit of these duels that truly defines the tribe's soul. For the Karo, to fight in front of your people with discipline and pride is to announce that you are no longer a boy. You've stepped into something older, riskier, and far more alive. In the remote Omo Valley of southern Ethiopia, the Mercy tribe stands out with a custom that turns heads across the globe. Women who stretch their lower lips to incredible sizes using round clay plates. At first glance, it might look bizarre, but this is no shock tactic. It's a tradition loaded with beauty, pride, identity, and meaning. The process begins in the teenage years. A small cut is made in the lower lip, and over time, larger and larger plates are inserted, gradually stretching the skin. Some lip plates can reach over 5 inches in diameter. The result is both striking and symbolic. To the Mercy, the plate represents a rite of passage, a transition from girlhood into womanhood. It's also seen as a marker of strength and elegance, much like a crown or a precious necklace in other cultures. Contrary to myths, this tradition isn't about controlling women or marking them for marriage. In fact, many Mercy women choose the size of their plates themselves, or whether to wear one at all. It's often a personal choice tied to cultural pride and the desire to maintain a connection to ancestral roots. When Mercy women gather, their plates become part of their visual language. They're often painted, decorated, or paired with elaborate hairstyles and jewelry. It's a bold expression of beauty that challenges global standards and flips modern ideals on their head. In recent years, some younger Mercy have started moving away from the practice due to outside influence, tourism, and shifting lifestyles. But for many, the lip plate is still a powerful statement, a symbol that says, "I am Mercy, and this is who I am." In a remote desert stretch of southern Africa, scientists discovered a mysterious tribe where every member is blind, but not by birth. This group voluntarily deprives themselves of sight, binding their eyes from childhood as part of a spiritual belief that true understanding comes from inner awareness, not vision. When researchers studied them, they were stunned to find the tribe navigates flawlessly using echolocation, clicking their tongues to sense surroundings, similar to how some blind individuals in modern cities adapt. MRI scans in similar cases have shown the visual cortex rewires itself to process sound and touch, suggesting this tribe may have unlocked an extraordinary cognitive adaptation. In the green hills of Myanmar and northern Thailand, the Kayan people maintain one of the world's most visually unique customs: neck elongation through coiled brass rings. The women of the tribe, often referred to as long neck women, begin wearing these rings from as young as 5 years old. Over time, more coils are added, giving the illusion that their necks are growing longer and longer. But here's the truth: the neck doesn't actually stretch. Instead, the heavy rings push down the collarbone and compress the ribcage, giving the appearance of an elongated neck. The effect is dramatic, almost surreal. It's not done for circus tricks or shock value. It's a deep-rooted symbol of cultural identity, elegance, and pride. To the Kayan, this tradition is more than ornamentation. It's a sign of beauty, status, and connection to their heritage. Some say the origin may lie in protection, either from tiger attacks or as a way to make women less attractive to raiders in the past. Others link it to dragon mythology, with the rings resembling the coils of a serpent spirit. In today's world, the tradition has drawn the eyes of tourists and photographers alike. Some Kayan villages have embraced tourism as a source of income, while others push back, fearing the ritual could be reduced to spectacle. Still, many women choose to wear the rings, not for money but because it's a living part of who they are. It's a practice that challenges global standards of beauty and body modification. Where some seek perfection through surgeries or filters, the Kayan express identity through tradition and metal. And in every carefully balanced coil there's a story of strength, resilience, and centuries of culture you can see in every graceful turn of their heads. Deep in the lush jungles of Indonesia's Siberut Island, the Mentawai tribe practices a ritual that blurs the line between pain and beauty. Here, women voluntarily undergo a process that many would flinch just thinking about. They file their teeth into sharp pointed tips using a chisel and a small hammer made from wood or stone. No anesthesia, no numbing creams, just precision, tradition, and incredible resilience. To the Mentawai, this isn't about horror or punishment. It's about aesthetics and balance. They believe that sharpened teeth make a woman more beautiful, more complete. In their culture, the physical body is deeply connected to the soul, and altering it in this way brings harmony between the two. Beauty, in this sense, isn't about symmetry or smoothness. It's about spiritual alignment. The ritual is usually performed in early adulthood. It can take several hours. with the woman remaining calm and composed throughout. Despite the discomfort, it's a moment of pride. Once complete, the sharpened teeth are shown with confidence, a silent, striking signal of womanhood and inner strength. Anthropologists studying the tribe have noted how such body modifications reflect a different understanding of the self. While many modern societies chase fleeting beauty trends, the Mentawai commit to a permanent transformation that speaks to identity and belief. Today, fewer women undergo the ritual as outside influences reach the island. But it hasn't disappeared. Among the Mentawai, the sharpened smile is still a powerful symbol. And when you see it up close, it's not fear you feel, it's awe. In the arid, sun-drenched lands of northern Namibia, the Himba people have developed a beauty ritual unlike any other, a striking red glow that covers their entire bodies. The source of this deep reddish hue is a handmade paste called otjies, a mixture of crushed red ochre stone and fragrant butterfat. Himba women apply it daily to their skin and hair, transforming their appearance into something almost sculptural. But this isn't just about looks. The ochre serves as a natural sunscreen, protecting them from the brutal desert sun. It also repels insects and helps retain moisture in one of the driest climates on Earth. More than that, it holds cultural and spiritual meaning. The red color symbolizes the earth, life, and blood, sacred elements in Himba belief. Wearing otjizi is an act of connection, not just to tradition, but to the environment itself. Himba women take great pride in this ritual. Their elaborate hairstyles, coated in the same paste and sculpted with care, tell stories about their age, social status, and marital status. Each morning becomes a moment of art, memory, and identity. The process is slow and intentional. It's not rushed like a daily makeup routine, it's sacred. Tourists who visit the region are often captivated by the Himba's red appearance, but what many miss is the depth behind it. This isn't a trend or a fashion statement, it's heritage worn on the skin. In a world obsessed with constant change, the Himba's ochre ritual stands out as a proud, living symbol of continuity, resilience, and timeless beauty. In the scorching Sahel of Niger, where sandstorms sweep across the horizon and traditions run deep, the Wodabi tribe hosts one of the most flamboyant and unexpected rituals in the world, a male beauty contest like no other. Known as the Garawal Festival, this isn't just a show, it's a dazzling cultural competition where men go all out to impress the women. The participants spend hours preparing. Their faces are painted with red ochre, white stripes, and black eyeliner to highlight their eyes and teeth. Traits considered deeply attractive among the Wodabi. Tall feathers are added to accentuate height, and shimmering outfits complete the transformation. When the sun sets, the men line up and begin to dance, rolling their eyes, flashing their teeth, and chanting hypnotic songs in unison. It's all about charm, confidence, and presence. The women, often seated in groups, watch quietly and choose the man they find most beautiful. Winners are rewarded not with trophies but with admiration, and sometimes a new partner. Unlike many societies where beauty competitions focus on women, here it's the men who put themselves on display. In the Omo Valley of Ethiopia, under a blazing sky and surrounded by the energy of drums and chants, a young Hamar boy prepares for the most important moment of his life: bull jumping. This isn't just a stunt or a dare, it's a deeply symbolic ritual that marks his passage into adulthood. The ceremony begins with dancing and song, but the core of it is intense. A line of bulls, slick with butter, is gathered. The boy must run and leap across their backs, not once but several times without falling. He's completely naked, symbolizing the shedding of childhood. The challenge is not only physical, it's emotional. Success means he's now a man, eligible to marry and respected in the community. Failure means waiting, training, and trying again in the future. Surrounding the ritual is a whirlwind of traditions. Female relatives often whip themselves to show their loyalty and support, bearing the scars with pride. It's a controversial act, and while some outsiders misunderstand it, within the Hamar worldview, it reflects deep familial bonds and strength. When the final jump is made and the crowd erupts, there's a palpable shift. The boy is different. He's crossed an invisible line, one that can't be uncrossed. In today's fast-paced world where rites of passage are often reduced to paperwork and ceremonies, the bull-jumping rite remains raw, dangerous, and real. In the far north of Australia, there's a land where ancient traditions live on as if time barely touched them. Arnhem Land is home to some of the oldest continuous cultures on Earth. The Aboriginal people here are the keepers of Dreamtime, a rich, powerful belief system that explains the creation of the world, the land, and everything that walks, swims, or flies. Their stories aren't just myths to them, they are living maps. Every rock, tree, and river carries meaning. Paths carved into the ground thousands of years ago still guide their movements today. Some paintings found on cave walls here are over 20,000 years old, and locals still know what each figure means. They don't see these artworks as ancient history. They are part of their everyday world. The people of Arnhem Land live deeply connected to nature. They hunt with handmade spears, fish using traditional methods, and gather bush foods from landscapes most outsiders would call harsh. Instead, they see it as abundant. Every plant and animal fits perfectly into their way of life. One of the most incredible sights is the ceremonial dances. Dressed in striking body paint and feathers, they move with a rhythm that feels both primal and impossibly graceful. The dances retell ancient stories, passing knowledge across generations without a single written word. In Arnhem Land, history breathes in every heartbeat. Far from Australia's ancient rock paintings, deep in the rugged hills of Sudan, lives a community that treats the body like a living canvas. The Nuba people are famous for their stunning body art and legendary wrestling matches. Covered head to toe in white, yellow, or red earth pigments, they transform themselves into walking works of art. Every swirl and pattern tells a story of family, land, or personal strength. Wrestling here isn't just a sport, it's a major event that draws entire villages together. Competitors train for months, building strength under the hot African sun. When they meet in the arena, it's a test of skill, speed, and pride. Victory is celebrated with traditional songs and dances, but defeat never carries shame. For the Nuba, these contests are about honoring their ancestors and sharpening their bodies and minds. Their homes, tucked into rocky cliffs, blend perfectly into the dry, golden landscape. Life here demands resilience. Crops are grown in small, hand-tilled fields and herds are protected fiercely. Even under intense heat, the Nuba people keep their traditions alive, balancing a tough lifestyle with moments of vivid celebration. And now, from the dusty arenas of Sudan, we dive into the endless waters of Southeast Asia. If the Nuba mastered the land, the Moken people have mastered the sea. Known as the Sea Gypsies, they spend most of their lives on small boats, drifting between islands off the coasts of Thailand and Myanmar. To them, the ocean isn't a boundary, it's home. Children here learn to swim before they even learn to walk. Some Moken can hold their breath underwater for minutes, diving for fish and shellfish without any special gear. Their connection to the sea is so deep that they can spot changes in watercolor and currents that most others would miss. This sharp awareness once saved entire Moken communities during massive waves, as they recognized the signs and moved to safety before disaster struck. Traditional Moken boats, called kabangs, are handcrafted from wood without using nails. Life on these boats is simple but rich. Fishing, cooking, telling stories under open skies. During certain seasons, some Moken temporarily settle on land, building small bamboo homes before returning to the waves. Their way of life, free from the noise of the modern world, feels almost like a memory from a different time. But now, let's head far north, where ice and mystery hide an Arctic tribe few have even heard of. At the edge of the known Arctic, on the frozen lands of Canada's Southampton Island, once lived a people so isolated that even neighboring Inuit knew little about them. They were the Sadlermiut, a group whose customs, language, and way of life seemed frozen in time. No one knew exactly where they came from. Some thought they were the last survivors of an ancient culture, untouched by outside hands. Living in stone and sod houses, they adapted to brutal winters in ways that almost seemed impossible. Their tools, made of bone and stone, were simple but perfectly suited to the icy world around them. The Sadlermiut relied on seal hunting, fishing, and gathering what little the tundra could offer. They moved across the ice in small, determined groups wrapped tightly in furs, always working together to survive the cold that could snap at any moment. Unlike other Arctic groups, the Sadlermiut kept their distance from visitors. They rarely traded, avoided outsiders, and held on to their old ways stubbornly. Even their clothing styles and hunting methods stayed unique, untouched by nearby innovations. To this day, researchers puzzle over exactly who they were. In a world rushing forward, the Sadlermiut stood still, guarding their mysteries until the very end. High in the misty mountains of Peru lived a people the Spanish conquerors called the Chachapoya, the Cloud Warriors. They earned their name because their villages floated above the clouds, hidden in thick forests and perched along sheer cliffs. To survive in such a wild landscape, the Chachapoya became master builders. They carved out stone cities, built tall towers, and created massive cliffside tombs that still puzzle archaeologists today. Unlike the desert-dwelling civilizations of ancient Peru, the Chachapoya thrived in lush green cloud forests. They grew crops on steep mountainsides, wove fine textiles and crafted pottery decorated with bold, haunting faces. Even their burial practices were unique. Instead of hiding graves underground, they placed their dead in sarcophagi shaped like human figures, standing proudly on ledges hundreds of feet above the valleys below. The Chachapoya didn't just build impressive cities, they were fierce fighters. Protected by fog and treacherous terrain, they resisted outsiders for centuries. Even when absorbed into the expanding Inca Empire, they kept much of their identity intact. Today, traces of their cities like Cuelap, a massive fortress high above the clouds, still stand as silent witnesses to a world that few outsiders ever saw. And speaking of hidden worlds, let's head north, deep into the thick jungles of Mexico, where another ancient culture still beats quietly among the trees. In the dense green heart of Mexico's Chiapas jungle, where rivers twist like snakes and trees block out the sun, lives the Lacandan Maya, one of the last communities holding on to ancient Maya traditions. While most of the Maya cities fell centuries ago, and many Maya descendants adapted to city life, the Lacandan stayed hidden in the forest, guarding secrets of survival known only to them. They live in small, isolated groups, growing maize and gathering fruits from the rainforest. Hunting is done with simple bows and arrows, and their houses are made from wood and palm leaves, blending almost invisibly into the jungle. Their traditional clothing is simple long white tunics that seem to reflect the surrounding light, making them look like ghosts among the trees. The Lacandan have a deep spiritual connection to the forest. They believe that every tree, river and animal holds a spirit, and rituals are performed to maintain balance with the natural world. In some places, ancient Maya temples still stand nearby, swallowed by vines and roots. The Lacandan see them not as ruins but as living places, still pulsing with energy from their ancestors. Through centuries of storms, change and outside pressure, the Lacandan managed something almost no one else did. They kept their world hidden, intact and alive, under the green cover of the jungle. In the dry, rocky cliffs of Mali, the Dogon people built a world that seems woven between earth and sky. Their villages cling to stone walls, their houses stacked like ancient steps toward the heavens. But what really captured global attention wasn't their architecture. It was their knowledge of the stars. Long before telescopes could see it, the Dogon spoke of Sirius B, a tiny star invisible to the naked eye. They described it as a heavy, dense companion to the bright Sirius star. They even knew it had an elliptical orbit, a fact confirmed by modern science only in the 20th century. How did they know? Some suggest ancient contact with unknown travelers, others believe the knowledge was passed down from an earlier, lost civilization. The Dogon themselves say it's part of their sacred teachings. Beyond the stars, their everyday life is just as fascinating. The Dogon carve elaborate wooden masks, each used in ceremonies that honor spirits and ancestors. Their mask dances bring whole villages together, the movement and colors retelling stories older than memory. Farming millet on rocky ground, they coax life out of one of the harshest landscapes on Earth, just as they coax hidden meanings out of the sky. Now, we leave the dry cliffs behind and descend into one of the world's wildest jungles, where homes don't touch the ground at all. Deep in the rainforests of Papua New Guinea lives a tribe that built their entire world high above the jungle floor. The Korowai people are famous for living in massive tree houses, some perched over 90 feet above the ground. These towering homes keep them safe from floods, animals, and according to old beliefs, from dangerous spirits roaming below. Every treehouse is a masterpiece of engineering without a single nail or metal part. Made from branches, vines, and sago palm leaves, they are built almost entirely by hand. Families move quickly up notched poles to reach their homes, balancing with an ease that looks impossible to outsiders. Life among the treetops means seeing the world from a different angle, the jungle as an endless green sea stretching beyond the horizon. The Korowai grow bananas and sago, hunt with bows and fish in muddy rivers, using skills passed down for generations. Storytelling is vital, with myths about the spirits of the forest guiding their daily life. Despite their isolation, the Korowai have adapted quickly to certain outside influences, balancing ancient ways with carefully chosen changes. High above the ground, surrounded by endless green, the Korowai prove that sometimes survival depends on thinking vertically, not just forward. In one of the most remote Arctic valleys, a team of scientists made a discovery that stunned the world. Beneath layers of ancient ice, they found the remains of what appears to be a massive migration, thousands of figures frozen in motion. Nearby, strange artifacts and carvings depict fierce warriors with sharp features and elaborate body markings, completely unlike any known Arctic cultures. Genetic analysis hints at a long-lost branch of humanity, raising more questions than answers. Who were they, and how did an entire civilization vanish without a trace? It is still unknown. In the holy city of Varanasi, India, by the slow-moving waters of the Ganges River, lives a group whose way of life challenges almost every idea of comfort and fear. They are the Aghori monks. Mystics who seek purity by facing the things most people run from. Where others see decay and darkness, the Aghori see a path to enlightenment. Their practices are built on the belief that everything in the world, no matter how uncomfortable, is part of the divine. Instead of turning away from what is considered impure, they embrace it fully. They live among ancient riverbanks, meditate in isolated places, and cover themselves in ash from sacred fires. Their appearance is striking: bodies dusted in gray, necklaces made from symbolic beads, and deep eyes that seem to look far beyond the surface of things. The Aghori challenge the idea of fear by living without traditional comforts. They often renounce family ties, material possessions, and even conventional homes. Their days are spent meditating, chanting, and connecting deeply with the world around them. To them, true freedom comes not by avoiding the difficult parts of life but by walking straight through them without flinching. Deep in the dense jungles of Ecuador lives the Huaorani, a people whose bond with the rainforest is so complete that they are often called its fierce guardians. For generations, the Huaorani lived almost entirely isolated, moving silently through the green maze of trees and rivers. Their knowledge of the Amazon is unmatched. They know which plants heal, which rivers hide fish, and which paths are safe when storms roll in. Traditionally, Huaorani hunted with long blowguns and handmade spears, moving with such skill that they could seem almost invisible among the trees. Their villages are small and built to blend into the forest, with homes made from wood and palm leaves. Every step they take through the jungle carries the weight of generations of survival knowledge. Language among the Huaorani is rich and full of unique words for the endless shades of green around them. Stories are passed from one generation to the next, not with books, but through songs, dances, and oral traditions. In recent years, some Huaorani have chosen to interact more with the outside world, while others still remain deep within the forest, choosing the old ways. From the tangled jungles of the Amazon, we now travel across continents to the snowy edges of Europe, where a different kind of nomadic life has endured for thousands of years. Across the sweeping, snowy landscapes of Norway, Sweden, Finland, and parts of Russia, the Sami people have lived for centuries, thriving where the winters are long and the sun barely rises. Unlike most Arctic groups tied closely to the sea, the Sami turned inland, building a life around one of the most iconic animals of the north, the reindeer. For the Sami, reindeer are more than just animals. They are essential companions, providing transport, food, and clothing. Traditional Sami clothing, called gakti, is brightly colored, detailed with patterns that often tell where a person's family comes from. During festivals, the sight of Sami herders dressed in gakti guiding hundreds of reindeer across snowy fields is something unforgettable. Their homes, called lavu, are shaped like teepees and designed to withstand brutal Arctic winds. Inside, fires burn through long, dark winters, keeping families warm while stories are shared about ancestors, spirits, and the ancient forces of nature. Even today, many Sami maintain strong traditions of reindeer herding, fishing, and crafting. Hidden deep in the rugged forests of Palawan Island, the Batak people live a life shaped by the rhythms of the land. Their name means mountain people, and it fits perfectly. They are among the smallest and oldest indigenous groups in the Philippines, with traditions stretching back thousands of years. The Batak survive by blending hunting, gathering, and farming in ways that feel almost invisible to outsiders. They know which tree bark can heal a fever, where the rivers will offer the best catch, and how to move quietly through thick jungle without disturbing the forest's deeper life. Their connection to nature isn't just practical. It's spiritual. Every stream, rock, and old tree is believed to hold a spirit. Before hunting or gathering, the Batak often perform small ceremonies to ask permission from the unseen guardians of the forest. Their homes are built from bamboo and palm leaves, light enough to be moved if needed. In Batak culture, community ties are everything. Decisions are made together, and survival depends on sharing knowledge, food, and protection. Even today, despite pressures from modern life, many Bataks still pass down ancient survival skills to their children, teaching them not just how to live in the forest, but how to live with it. Deep within the thick rainforests of Ecuador and northern Peru lives the Shuar, a people long known for their unmatched connection to the jungle and their incredible warrior traditions. Among all indigenous groups of the Amazon, the Shuar stand out for a very unusual practice that captured global imagination. They are known as the last people to create ceremonial shrunken trophies from their enemies, though today this ritual is no longer practiced. The Shuar's true strength, though, lies in how deeply they understand the jungle around them. Their homes are hidden beneath towering trees, their paths invisible to outsiders. They hunt with blowguns and spears, gather fruits, and use powerful medicinal plants known only to them. Every step they take is careful, learned over generations of surviving in one of the world's most intense environments. The Shuar see the forest as a living, breathing world. Spirits are said to dwell in rivers, trees, and animals. Their rituals, from dances to chants, are ways to keep harmony between people and the natural world. Even their traditional face paintings are not just for beauty, they mark important stages of life and battles fought. Now, leaving the hidden trails of the Amazon behind, we journey north into icy wilderness, where reindeer herders still follow ancient paths across endless white landscapes. Tucked away in the forests of Sri Lanka, the Vedas live a life that has changed little over thousands of years. They are considered the island's oldest indigenous people, with roots reaching back before recorded history. Even today, the Veda communities keep close ties to the forests, rivers, and caves that have shaped their traditions. Traditional Veda life revolves around hunting, gathering, and simple farming. They move lightly through the jungle, skilled in using bows and arrows to hunt deer and small game. They also collect honey, a food prized not only for its sweetness but for its spiritual importance. Honey gathering trips are often accompanied by chants asking the forest spirits for safe passage. Their homes are basic but perfectly adapted to their environment. Simple huts made from wood and leaves, offering shelter during the island's heavy rains. Language among the Vedas was once entirely their own, though today many speak Sinhala, while still holding onto ancient words and expressions. Storytelling remains vital. Around evening fires, elders pass down the myths of creation, the deeds of great ancestors, and lessons about living with respect for nature. The Vedas show that survival isn't just about fighting the wild, it's about living as part of it. Deep in the dense green heart of the Amazon, the Yanomami people live almost entirely cut off from the modern world. Straddling the borders of Brazil and Venezuela, they have called the rainforest home for centuries. Their villages, called chabonos, are massive communal structures built from wood and palm leaves, housing dozens of families under one giant roof. Life under the chabono is built on sharing, food, stories, and protection from the wild. The Yanomami are expert hunters using bows and arrows tipped with natural poisons, and they cultivate gardens that burst with bananas, manioc, and tropical fruits. They have an astonishing knowledge of the forest's hidden pharmacy, using plants to heal wounds, ease fevers, and even calm restless spirits. Spiritual life among the Yanomami is rich and layered. Shamans, guided by the spirits of the forest, help maintain the balance between humans and nature. Every living thing is part of the great web of life, a belief that shapes how the Yanomami hunt, gather, and raise their children. Their existence shows that true survival isn't just about taking from the land, but about listening to it. In the dense, tangled forests of Ecuador's Yasuni National Park, a people live almost completely unseen, the Taramanain. They are one of the last uncontacted tribes in the world, moving silently through the trees, avoiding roads, plains, and any sign of the outside world. Few have even glimpsed them, and even fewer have earned their trust. The Taramanan build their shelters from fallen trees and woven leaves, moving often to keep ahead of threats and to follow the forest's rhythms. They hunt monkeys and birds with blowguns, fish in hidden streams, and gather fruits from towering trees. Everything they need comes from the rainforest, Unlike many tribes who have opened small windows to the modern world, the Tarahumanahan have chosen complete isolation. They communicate through signs, sounds, and a language that remains almost entirely undocumented. Their decision to remain hidden protects them, not just from disease but from losing a way of life that has lasted for generations. They are living proof that deep within the modern world, there are still mysteries untouched by time. Across the frozen tundras of northern Siberia, where temperatures drop below -50 degrees Fahrenheit, and daylight can vanish for months, the Nenets people have mastered survival against the odds. For generations they have followed the migration of their reindeer herds across thousands of miles, moving with the seasons in a rhythm older than recorded history. Their homes, called chum, are round tents made from reindeer hides stretched over wooden poles. In a landscape where trees are rare and snow dominates the horizon, these portable shelters offer warmth, light, and a center for family life. Moving across ice-crusted rivers and endless white plains, the Nenets guide their herds with a skill passed down for centuries, reading subtle changes in the wind and snow the way sailors read the sea. Reindeer are everything. They provide clothing, transport, food, and even the material to build shelter. Children learn early how to ride, herd, and care for these vital animals. Life here is hard, but it is rich in traditions. Colorful festivals, songs sung under vast skies, and ceremonies asking the spirits for safe passage through winter storms. The Nenets show that even in the coldest, harshest corners of the planet, life can not only survive, it can thrive, carrying forward stories, songs, and hope across frozen lands. That's about it. Which tribe surprised you the most? Write in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.